as far away as Washington State. A magnitude 6.6 earthquake hit off the coast of Port Hardy tonight just after 8 o'clock Pacific time. Area residents say the ground shook for about 35 to 40 seconds during the preliminary quake, and that was followed by two fairly significant aftershocks. Aaron MacArthur has been following the story and joins us live in the newsroom. Aaron, this event catching many people off guard tonight.
Absolutely, Ann. Just after 8 o'clock, an earthquake hit about 80 to 90 kilometers almost due south of Port Hardy in the waters off the west coast of Vancouver Island. There have actually now been three major aftershocks. The first one 5.0 and then 4.2, and just about 20 minutes ago another aftershock 4.0. Important to note, during none of these events was a tsunami warning issued. Little report of any damage in the immediate aftermath of the shaking. Now, to give you an idea of the geography here, the nearest point of land for reference would be the Brooks Peninsula. So you're looking at areas like Quatsino, Port Alice, Zabalos, Gold River. They all felt the quake, but what's really interesting, those areas felt the quake significantly less than in Port Hardy, Port McNeil, Sointula on the eastern edge of the island. Residents there report feeling the ground shake for somewhere on the order of 30 to 40 seconds. At this point, no reports of any injury, no reports of any damage. The mayor of Port Hardy saying the shaking certainly significant.
We're not hearing of any reports. Our own infrastructure has been checked, and things are fine. And we haven't heard any reports from other communities in the North Island. So we're not expecting to hear that there was any, great deal of damage. As I say, I think because it was a short-lived, it wasn't a sustained shake. I think that, we'll find damage will be minimal, hopefully.
And Aaron, this is what is quite amazing. This was a fairly significant quake. I mean, 6.6, we don't want to take that lightly, yet the damage was so minimal. Do we know why?
Geologists are calling this a shallow earthquake, and 11 kilometers deep, one that could have proven extremely dangerous had it happened in a populated area. That's the thing here. The North Island just doesn't have a lot of people. The shaking, if it impacted anyone, was barely felt closest to the epicenter. Now remember, 6.7 is about the same magnitude as the Christchurch, New Zealand earthquake of a few years ago. That one, though, right under a population center, right where it could do the most damage.
Especially a shallow earthquake like this, I'm sure the numbers will change later, but right now they're saying it's only 11 kilometers deep, which isn't very deep. So that means the energy of the earthquake waves don't have a lot of time to dissipate before they hit the surface of the earth. So if it was right underneath a populated area, we would see buildings collapsing. We would see the potential of the ground liquefying, and it could easily have fatalities.
And Aaron, dozens and dozens of people were calling the newsroom tonight, many of them from the Lower Mainland. They really felt the earth shake. Oh, sure. People as far away as Williams Lake felt this earthquake. People in Nia Bay in Washington State felt the earthquake. Now, geologists are saying there's a reason for that. As the earthquake waves travel out farther from the epicenter, they start to hit areas with deep, deep soil, and the soil really reflects those earthquake waves. And that's why people in the valley, Langley, would feel it quite a bit more than people on the rocky parts of Vancouver Island. This pool that you're looking at right here, that's in Maple Ridge, and you can see that the water certainly rippling from the effects of the earthquake. Again, the Fraser Valley has that deep, deep sediment, and that really reflects the earthquake waves. We're going to follow this story throughout the night. We'll have the very latest on the earthquake as well as the aftershocks that continue to impact the Vancouver Island area as the NewsHour final goes on. Okay, we'll see you a little later on in the show, Aaron. Thank you so much. It's Aaron MacArthur live in our newsroom tonight. I want to go to the phone now to Pat Quealy. He's the Assistant Deputy Minister with Emergency Management BC. Good evening, Mr. Quealy.
Good evening, Dan. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. What can you tell us about the damage? What are you hearing tonight?
Great, Ann. So what I can give all of our listeners an update on is that very shortly after understanding of this earthquake, our team quickly reached out to the communities that we understood to have highest potential for risk of impact. So we contacted Port Hardy, Port Alice, Zabalos, Gold River, Campbell River, Port McNeil, Strathcona Regional District, and Mount Wellington Regional District. And all reports indicated that there were no significant injuries or damages as a result of this quake. So as you indicated in your earlier report, certainly we were very lucky in that regard. It's a testament, I guess, as well to some of the reporting we heard from, for example, Mayor Parnham, that people responded in a cool, collected manner and did the appropriate drills of this quake.
But realistically, I have to ask you, how prepared are we, though, for a significant quake? I mean, we got off the hook this time, but what happens if we're not so lucky the next time?
You know, that's a wonderful question, Anna, and I guess the best way to answer that is, can we ever be prepared enough? And can we establish enough knowledge and understanding of this potential threat and build plans that are meaningful? And that really begins at home and begins with local individuals and communities being able to support each other and respond and react. And I'll give you an example. I mean, any earthquake near a coastal area should be our first indicator that we should react and respond and anticipate a tsunami. Certainly we'll alert and we'll warn folks as quickly as possible, but that's the cue. And folks need to drop cover and hold on when an earthquake occurs and take measures to ensure their safety of themselves and their families and build onward from there. And we'll certainly do everything we can at each level to ensure that we add that value and add that additional support to those communities. But it begins at home.
I want to quickly ask you one last question. I want to talk about seismic upgrades. A lot of criticism that the province isn't moving fast enough on those upgrades. Does this give you a sense of more urgency to do something about that?
I think in general, we can look at the seismic threat in our region and simply need to understand that there are many things that we can do, and to assess what those things can we do within our means, and work collaboratively as a team at many levels and with our partners to ensure that BC is best prepared as possible. So we absolutely are always continuing to learn and to make sure that we can make best progress on all fronts.
Okay, Pat Quealy, thank you so much for your time tonight.
My pleasure, Ann.
That's Pat Quealy, Assistant Deputy Minister with Emergency Management BC. Now, I just want to recap here. Here's a timeline of tonight's earthquake so far. The magnitude 6.6 quake happened at 8:10 this evening. The epicenter off the west coast of Vancouver, 94 kilometers south of Port Hardy. That was followed by 2 strong aftershocks, actually 3. Aaron mentioned one that just happened around 11 o'clock tonight. We had the first one at around 8:20, a magnitude 5.0, and then 21 minutes after that, another aftershock. This one was a magnitude 4.2. We, of course, will update you if we hear of any more aftershocks, and, of course, we will be following this story on BC One and the Morning News, and Aaron will be joining us a little later on in the show with more.